Hey everybody, welcome back to Truth and Tea with B. This past couple days has been a hard one. Yesterday was the 4-year anniversary of losing my brother, and I've struggled with, I don't know what to share about that. All of it's hard. It'll probably come out in pieces and parts, but yeah, so today is about grief. I think that when we hit the 1-year mark of my brother being gone, I tried to do this grand gesture, and I was going to have this barbecue and have all these people, and it just was not, I didn't want to. I really didn't. I had bought all this food, I was going to barbecue and all the things, and I didn't want to get out of bed. So I decided after that I would just wake up that day and see how my body and my spirit felt and what I wanted to do with that energy. And yesterday, I actually stayed in bed for most of the day and cried and, looked at pictures and videos and all those sorts of things. I finally got up. It must have been about 2 p.m. when I got up and started moving around. And just went and rode around with my daughter. We ran some errands, things like that. Went and saw my son. So I did transition my son, Javon, who's 23, on the spectrum, to a group home a couple weeks ago. I'll talk more about that another time, because that's been a roller coaster ride all on its own. So we went and visited him, took him some things, some snacks and whatever he wanted, and took the dog and hung out with him for a while. Had a quick check-in with the staff, make sure things are going well. And they are. He seems to be doing pretty well. There's a couple little bumps and bruises we're figuring out, but overall it's going well. And and then I came home and just kind of watched some movies and stuff. So there's been some years where I want to connect and just be on the phone with people and talk to people and go to lunch, and this year wasn't one of them. I just wanted to sit quietly with my emotions and my thoughts. My brother was pretty dope. He was. When he was younger, him and my other brother, Edward, I have one brother that's older than me, then I have 2 younger brothers, and both my younger brothers used to always be with me, and he always wanted to go to the park and do whatever, and he was always really daring, and he was pretty amazing. I think the thing that I thought about yesterday, and I did end up talking to my aunt. That's probably the only person I think I talked to. But I talked about how my brother had a life of a lot of pain, unfortunately. He was a preemie, so he was in the hospital for about, I think, 3-4 months after he was born, before he could come home. And I remember sitting in the back of the car, because he's right under me. I remember sitting in the back of the car with him. I must have been 5 or 6. And bringing him home from the hospital and being so excited that my baby had come home. And he used to have really, really scary asthma attacks as a kid, so he was rushed back and forth to the hospital a lot. And it seemed like by the teenage years, once the asthma and the lung stuff had kind of subsided a little bit, he ended up developing the adolescent diabetes, I think it's called, and that really took a toll on his health. And then it went from that to kidney stuff, and toward the end it was liver and heart stuff. And so yeah, so I like to think of it, maybe even a little bit for my own benefit, that there's no more pain. There's no more pain. And unfortunately, me and my brother were estranged the majority of his adult years, and because I'm no contact with some family, and but we did come back together before he passed away, and we were able to make amends. And I always think about, I remember somebody telling me how lucky I was that we knew, because he was in hospice. And I remember being so angry, because how can you say somebody's lucky when they are watching someone that basically, is going to pass away? And I realized, because not long after that, somebody I cared about lost somebody to gun violence. And I think literally 3 months after my brother passed, I think I realized after that I really was lucky, because it wasn't sudden in that way. and we did get to make amends and say the things and say I love yous and, you know, all those things. So there's a comfort in that, but I will always have some regrets. Yeah, I'll always have some regrets. So, but the one thing that did happen that I am really grateful for through all the regrets is losing my brother and being open about that, because I'm very open about that, especially with my kids. One of the number one reasons that a lot of the kiddos in the schools I've been in anyway, under my chemical dependency program, a lot of them are doing substance use because of grief, the majority actually. And I would say probably about 65-70% of that grief, because we know grief can come for a lot of different reasons, but about 65 to 70% of that grief has been losing a loved one. And so that part of the journey has made me relatable to my kids in a lot of ways, and I'm grateful for that, because they open up to me, you know, when I share with them a little bit about it. And yeah, so because they see me as someone that can understand, and unfortunately I can't. It's not a club that you ever want people to be in with you. But I think relatability is important. I think the majority of working with community is the level of isolation that makes you feel like this struggle is just mine. I'm the only one struggling with this. I'm the only one going through this. And the realization that that's not true is very, very freeing. And that's why I believe in us being more transparent and more honest, because you never know whose life your story might save. Literally save their life, just because they feel so alone. And if I'm the only one going through this, then I am the one-off. Then I should just not even deal with this, versus knowing, oh no, there's tons of people struggling with this. There's tons of people going through this. There are people struggling with the fact that they've lost someone, and this is really hard, and this sucks. Also, sharing the fact that it's hard. Sharing the fact that there's no right way to do this. One of the things I struggle with the most is that I can't fix it. Some of these things, these issues, it's broken, and it's gonna be broken. It just is. Some of the things that my kids deal with, it's just really hard because there's no way to fix it. There's no right answer for that. And dealing with that with them is sometimes hard, and having them process but still not have a direct, if you do this will fix it. So relatability is important for that, because a lot of them think there's some way to fix it and nobody's telling me. They're gatekeeping the information. Nobody's gatekeeping. Something's broken can absolutely never be put back together again, no matter how much glue or tape or whatever you have. But I do remind people, you can create something really, really beautiful out of those broken pieces. It won't look the same. But yeah, so I like to think what I created out of the journey of grief that I've had with my brother is creating relatability and connectivity with youth that have struggled with grief. I still struggle with losing my brother, and I have kids that come in to my office and they've lost so many people. I'm talking like double digits of people that they loved and cared about, and I'm like, oh my goodness, and I'm still reeling from my brother. So yeah, that is my truth and tea for the day. And I'm gonna end this video now before I start crying again, because I didn't know for that yesterday, and I got stuff to do today. So you guys have a great day. Remember, even when you're struggling, it's not just you. There's tons of people struggling. And when I tell you with almost probably the exact same thing you're struggling with, I am talking about almost the exact same thing you're struggling with. You are not alone. You are not by yourself. but you have to do the work to get support and reach out and connect with people that are struggling like you, so you can have that support. Support does not come knock on the door. The older we get, the more responsibility we have to seek support and seek help. It's not on other people to come and help us. It's not. It's up to us as individuals and adults to do the work. I do it with youth because, yeah, I think we do have to go to youth and give them help. But as adults, you got to do it for yourself. You got to get up. So today we're going to get up. Okay. Have a great rest of your day.